What's up? What's up? What's up, peeps? It's your girl. Hey, gay.
Long time no see.
I know a month is too long.
Yeah, you left me in here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Defending myself.
I mean, but
It's
I
crazy.
I was on the verge,
I'm good.
like for real. I was on the verge of burnout,
Mm,
and I was not in a good headspace at
mm,
all. So I decided to take a month off. And no, contrary to popular belief, it was not because my birthday was in the month of April.
mm.
uh, I really did need to take some downtime between work and podcast and personal life and caregiving. And we had another death in the village, several deaths in the village.
Oh wow.
Um, I just was not operating on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But I did celebrate my birthday, even though I wasn't planning to. Uh, but some of the friends in the village, hee tree tree. Uh, was like, no, we are celebrating. You are the big 50. So the girl is chapter 50.
Mm.
So happy birthday to me,
Happy
and
birthday again.
thank you. And I'm in a much better space. So Combo family, thank y'all for allowing me to take the month off to recharge, regroup, refocus. There are some things coming,
Mm.
good things.
Okay.
But I'm back
Welcome back.
for Mental Health Awareness Month after my
Perfect.
mental health break.
Welcome back. Welcome
Look at
I
back.
God.
know, right? Look at God. Oh, because no, for real, I thought I was gonna check out. Um,
Mm.
so okay, fam. So we have one of our favorites joining us today. Our future doc.
Oh goodness.
From future doc to future doc. Hey, I got one
I'm
class.
gonna let you have it.
We
I'm
gonna
gonna let you
be
have it.
we gonna be doctor.
Yeah.
So one of our favorites is back. Our future doc, Katrina Kirk Franks, LPC-A.
Hey.
And we're gonna have a wonderful discussion with you guys tonight about mental health and marriage.
Mm.
Mhm.
I know, right? That's kind of
Hey, you put your thing in, I heard.
listen.
I said I heard. Like you married before.
Listen, marriage can either make you or break you in the mental health
Yes,
space. It really
ma'am.
can.
Mhm.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm really glad to have this conversation tonight because um I have a homegirl that's about to get married. I hope she joins us tonight. She been going through, but she a trooper, and I love her partner. He is the best thing since sliced bread. Like I love him, and especially love him for her.
Mhm.
Um, because I see the balance.
Mhm.
Um, and he's just great. He
Mhm.
really is. He is great. He reminds me of you,
Oh
or you
wow.
remind me of him because he's older than me.
Oh,
Sis.
But no, just real even kill,
oh,
real
Gabe.
grounded.
Right.
I know. I'm just like
Mhm.
grounded, real even kill, and he really brings out the best in her.
Mhm.
Like you bring out the best in people you around.
I see what you did
I'm
there.
just
I
saying.
see what you did. I see what you did.
So, iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely, it does.
Um, so I Miss Katrina,
Mhm.
tell the people, what we in for a treat tonight.
Well, you know what? First, let me say, let's celebrate that I am officially LPC minus the A. Yay!
Yay! Okay. Okay, LPC. Come on, future doc. I
Yeah.
see.
Now, disclaimer, and I'm sure I probably have said this before. I've been doing this for a while, but places where I've done it didn't require what I had to go and take care of. So here we are.
Okay.
Many years of experience, but now took care of all of the credentialing to go even further. Let's say it like that.
Yay!
So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Congratulations, future doc.
Thank you. Thank you. But as far as the topic, I want to first say thank you for the invitation again. I think this is like my fourth time, and I
Yep.
am flattered and honored. And when you asked me for a topic, I really had to marinate on that for a minute and dig inside. You know what I mean? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? What is something that people haven't heard that much about? Like we hear about mental health all the time. We get a lot of tips and tricks. If it's at work, if it's in our personal spaces, with our own personal therapists, family, friends. But we don't always talk about what that looks like when you're in a committed relationship. And
No,
so
we
I just wanted to talk about that, because tips and tricks apply there as well. But what about when you don't have anybody to talk to about the specifics, about the
don't.
details of what you're going through with that partner? And it can be male or female, obviously, right? And for
Right.
some women, it could be connected to childbirth, so it could be postpartum. Or for some men, it could be connected to some type of diagnosis they've always had that is manifesting in a different way under stress, because now they're leaders of households, married, kids, and their stress is irritating, if you will, that diagnosis, or it's irritating that thing that may have been laying dormant. And in this case, it could be anything across the spectrum. It could be depression, um, or it could be something more extreme that maybe the person had not really tapped into getting help for and support for. So they've been just kind of walking around suffering. I mean, unfortunately, but true sense of the word is suffering, because they didn't have someone who would be able to talk to them about the depths of their marriage and their mental health. So just thought I wanted to, just thought there might be a little switch up, be a little interesting to kind of talk about and kind of dig into, and hopefully you have some people tuned in, because I would love questions, I would love insight, because I'm even curious, about how many people are experiencing this type of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That person, what if they like you? I mean, you love them. You know what I'm saying? That's your best friend. This is the person who you are sharing and paying the bills and taking care of the kids, and they have they have a bad day, and that bad day looks worse than the average bad day, and you're trying to figure out, what do I do? You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, my partner in crime, so to speak, my friend, my best friend, my lover, the father of my children or the mother of my children is having a real bad day, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to support this person. And so, just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Well, hey Nicole, see my friend jumped on. Girl, you just in time. You just in time, Coley. Um, no, and I think that's really important to kind of look at how do you unpack that, because married, long-term relationship, however you gonna put it, partnership, common law, whatever we gonna call this. Um,
Mm,
sometimes you do need some assistance when you're trying to help your partner through. And sometimes y'all
right.
need to help each other and can't. And then sometimes oh, Kill and Cole's in the building. Okay. Yay. Hey brother. Sorry. I'm a little excited. I'm back. I really did miss y'all. But no, I just think that everybody needs those tips and tools. She said we both have issues. Everybody has issues, Nicole.
Everybody, for real.
Everybody. So we're looking forward to unpacking that with you tonight, Miss Katrina. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back in two and two.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Adrian, can you hear me?
yes.
Are you the only one that can hear me?
No.
No.
Okay.
When I need space, that's where I go. A place to escape that nobody knows. Where I feel free to let things go and face this evil that burdens my soul. I bring my hatred, I pack my pain, all the emotions I cannot explain. It's where I found God and feel that somewhere to take my mistakes. I didn't want my family to see me cry. They'll never know I'm carrying all of this weight, dealing with the pressure, trying to provide. No sign of struggle can show on my face. They ask if I'm okay, I just flash them a smile. Fire up that engine and take me away. I'm speeding through emotions with every mile. On that road is where I find my peace. I remember Daddy told me about some times like these. On that road is where my mind's at. I keep driving life away, rejecting change. So when I need space, that's where I go. A place to escape that nobody knows. Where I feel free to let things go. Face this sea that burdens my soul. I bring my hands, I pack my pain. All the emotions I cannot explain. It's where I found God and fill that hole. It's He, myself, and I. On that lonely journey, I tried my best to plant the seeds and then I watered everything that was in my life. But as a man, the only flowers that you get her when you're 6 feet under on the day you die. I think I feel the pain my father felt. It's finally sinking in. Looking back, all I see is his eyes. He said that house is not a home unless you build it on respect with some kids and a love. If these walls could talk, I bet they say it's all my fault. That I don't try hard, that I ain't man enough, that I ain't standing up, that I just burn everything that my hands touch the wall. If these walls could talk, I bet they say I'm the blame, that I'm the one that put myself inside of all of these chains, that my addicted personalities will bring them away, and that I hurt myself by staying quiet and not explaining. And now I'm broken in places I can't even see. I know there's gotta be a heaven, cause the hell that's in me. Taking a dangerous toll, and I'm paying with all of my soul. And I need space, that's where I go. Place to escape, nobody knows. I feel free to let things go. And face this sea that burdens my soul. I bring my legs, I pack my pain. All the emotions I cannot explain. It's where I found God and fill that hole. It's He, myself, and I. On that lonely dirt road. It's the place where I can go. I'm not far from home. You're the only thing that matters. Oh, I'm safe. When I'm with you, I'm safe. Oh, on that lonely dirt road.
And we're back.
What are you laughing about now?
Well, because Gabe and I just vibe on a whole different level.
Yeah, we be
I know about Gabe. Is Gabe on camera?
know about me. We only got one camera now. So
Okay, Gabe. All right, I ain't gonna mess with you then.
Okay, well, welcome KL, welcome Nicole. So let's get into this, and fam, if y'all have questions, comment your questions, or you can call in to
214-556-6239. And
one more time, Gabe.
we may not be able to do that no more though. But because Skype is done. So yeah. So
okay.
We'll revisit the number later on.
Yeah. If y'all have questions, just comment in the section, and I promise to shout y'all out and call out y'all questions, but keep it moving. Okay, Future Doc, it's on you.
Well, so just once again, we were talking, and really I want to reference that song that just played. Man, I don't know how many people know that song or have ever heard it before, but if you have not, go take a listen where you can really listen to the lyrics. And it reminds me of the perspective of the man who's in a relationship or in a situation, I'll say, where he's dealing with mental health and he's trying to find somewhere to go to, get some relief from the pain. And a lot of times we don't, always understand the way men deal with their mental health, right? So if you're married to a man who's dealing with some type of mental health issue, no matter how severe or not, he may not always say anything, and it may not show up the way it shows up for you as a woman, right? And
Right.
so just listening to that song reminds me of that, because that's another one of the things that could be considered a challenge in the marriage, because it's a lot of times a stigma for a man to appear weak in any way, right? And at times people consider mental health issues as being a weakness. There's a lot more support when it comes to um, well, I would say interventions. Maybe not support in terms of dealing with the mental health issues when it comes to the female side, but definitely more support around interventions that help us with that. So, like again, women who are going through menopause, women who are going through postpartum depression from having a baby, any kind of hormonal issues. Men at times have hormonal issues too. That might be part of what's contributing to some of the mental health stuff. Like, it's so many things that tie into it. But just kind of circling back. So if you are a person who is dealing with someone who's having mental health issues, male or female, in a marriage, right? And you're trying to talk to them and say, hey, babe, I noticed this about you. How are you feeling? And they don't want to go get help because of the stigma, because of the embarrassment and things like that. And then how it affects your marriage then becomes an issue, right? Because again, this your rider, this is your friend, this is your lover. And then all of a sudden now they can't really help you help them.
Mm.
And so when you think about mental health is personal. We know that. We know that mental health is your own work. However, when you're in a marriage, because of the way our society, and even from a religious standpoint, defines marriage, it defines it in such a way where you're united so closely with this person that it can't just be personal for you in that regard, right? Because it's affecting the other person that's in the home, including the children and whomever else that may be around. And then let's talk about the in-laws who may know things about that spouse when they were growing up that they never shared with you. So you came into this situation not realizing all the things that you're having to deal with. And
So
so, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, and so, a lot of times it makes it even harder in that regard as well. And again, it's not something that you oftentimes can go and talk to someone about. You can't tell everybody what's going on in your marriage, right? They're
No,
not
you
going to
can't.
always look at it. They're not going to always look at it from the standpoint of, oh my goodness, let me help you. Sometimes it turns into gossip, and it turns into information that's shared around places you don't want it to go. And
Mm.
then if it circles back and gets back to that spouse, then what? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
listen.
almost like, yeah, and it's almost like being in this bubble where you feel like you can't go and ask for help. See, it's one thing for you to be the one that's depressed and say, oh my God, I can't take no more, can you help me? And then actually choose to put forth the effort and go and get that help. But when it's someone else and maybe they don't want it, it's like, okay, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to manage this? Right. And a lot of times, as the person who's going through it, as the person who's well, in comparison to the two, because we all got something, right? But the
Mhm.
person who's well, a lot of times may end up being put in a position where they're not getting the support they need because everybody is so concerned about the spouse who's suffering with the
Right.
mental health issues. So you see the layers, right? The
So
layers.
there are layers. And so, okay, as we unpack some of the layers tonight, not all of the layers, just some.
Right. Yeah.
Because we could have this discussion for the whole month.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so as we're unpacking the layers from a female perspective dealing with her male partner, how is the best way? Because men, as KL just said, particularly in the black male community, you don't always get to be vulnerable. You don't always get to, because you have to be strong and you're not supposed to have any problems and you're not supposed to talk to people. So how do we, as the female counterpart, approach this with our male spouse?
So the
Because when I
first
was
word,
married, I
I'm
couldn't
sorry,
talk
go
to
ahead.
my husband
Yeah.
about
Uh-huh.
nothing.
Uh-huh.
And
Go ahead.
I'm being real and transparent. When I was married, um, I noticed some issues, but I couldn't talk to him about those issues because he did not receive me asking like, do you need anything? Do you need help? Can I do something for you? He just didn't receive it. So what tips do you have when we are trying to help our wonderful men and they may be having a particular issue or challenge?
Okay, so first I want to say the first word comes to mind is patience. And you can't forget, this your rider, this your best friend, this your lover, right? He's not the enemy. He's not the enemy. A lot of times when we're going through stuff, we immediately get in this protective mode, and protection of ourselves makes everybody else the enemy at times, right? But you got to remember, this is your partner. They're not the enemy. So just like any other problem that you may have in your marriage, you have to tough through it if it's worth it for you, to you, if it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? If it's a healthy relationship and it's simply, and even though it's not simple, we know that, but if it's simply that there's a mental health concern there and there's a diagnosis that's needed so that you can then move towards intervention, you do have to be patient with that person coming to their own truth about it. You can't force them, right? And so let's say, for example, the behavior that comes out of this particular diagnosis, whatever it might be, let's use depression. That's common. We all know a lot about it, right? And let's say that for some reason that wife's husband is showing up in ways that's making her think that he's under a lot of pressure, he's depressed, he's feeling down, right? She can go two different ways, right? She can either go defensive mode, he's the enemy, what's wrong with you? Take care of these kids, I need your help, so and on, right? Or they can come from a different perspective. Babe, what's going on? I noticed something's different about you. I want to walk this out with you. I want to stand next to you. Because sometimes as women, we do fall into this space of, well, he the man of the house and he ain't acting strong. Well, he may need to be weak. Are you able to show up when he's weak?
Correct.
Like, are you there for true partnership? Because it may not look the way you thought it was going to look, and you may find yourself in a place of disappointment. So being patient with him and just walking it out, and then also addressing your own issues with it. Do you hold a stigma to the mental health? Are you a person who doesn't understand, so you don't know how to be there for the person? Are you a person that questions, oh, is this real? What's wrong with you? Are you really what? You know what I'm saying? So we have to check ourselves first, and then we have to support them the same way we would through any other tough situation. But at times, mental health, it looks different in how you do that, because you can't like put your hands on it like you can put your hand on our money is funny. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or you lost your job. Or maybe losing his job put him in a deep depression, and you're trying to figure out, well, why he won't go look for another one. You see what I'm saying? So, and so you have to really change your whole perspective on it, and you have to really redefine your love for that person and define it for them out loud. This is how I'm loving you, by how I'm supporting you through this situation. And in this case, this situation is something that's personal to you. It's your battle, your journey, but I'm right here next to you.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is we must continue patience. The Bible does says love is patient, love is kind. Patience is a virtue. And so putting the wifey hat back on, stop being mean and hateful and vindictive because your man is going through something.
Put it in plain terms, sis.
Well, because okay,
that's real. That's real.
I'm being real transparent. It could have been easy for me to tell the ex-husband, sit your ass down somewhere. We finna deal with this shit. Because we got to pay some bills. But instead, I was like, hey, I'm really trying to figure out what's going on here. And I was met with complete silence. And then I walked into the house after work, and you sitting in the room pitch dark with the blinds closed, the lights off. I felt like I was walking into a horror movie. Somebody was finna do something to me. But you know, you have to understand, like, I understood that something mentally was not right. Like, he was depressed, he was upset, there was a lot going on. I ain't gonna put his business out there, but there was just a lot going on. And so even though I was uncomfortable in that moment, the patient wifey in me had to be like, hey, we need to figure out how we gonna navigate this, because this ain't cool. But sometimes you then get, like you said a while ago, you get in your defensive mode, like, Negro,
Right.
I need you to come on. But again, we have to go back to patience, because if it were me sitting on the other end,
yeah,
how would I want him to handle me?
okay, talk about it.
And so that's why I'm trying to break it down like this, because we always want to put blame. We always want to scream and fight and fuss and cuss and hurry up and get yourself together. But sometimes it ain't a hurry up and get yourself together moment.
Right.
Sometimes
you don't know what they're going through.
You don't know.
You don't know how deep that thing is.
Exactly.
To you're only seeing the top of that glacier, right? There's a whole lot of rock underneath the water. You just seeing the top of it, and so you don't know how deep it really goes. And let me just say this real quick. Disclaimer. Don't be in an unhealthy, unsafe environment, though. I'm not talking about people who their diagnosis is so severe that they grabbing weapons and threatening you with weapons and knives and you can't sleep at night. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about let's talk about bare minimum, general, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes stuff that we don't notice it because it is so bare minimum and in general. Sometimes when you think of, some people, I'll say, think of mental health, they think of it as way extreme on the other end where it is violent. Right. And the behavior is out of control, but it's not always like that. Sometimes they walking right there next to you and they depressed and you don't even know it because they ain't talking. They ain't saying it. So then when you start picking up on cues, because this is one of the closest people to you, you sharing all kinds of everything with this person as your partner, as your marriage buddy. Right. And so you just kind of watch them. You just kind of be present, but you also be, be sympathetic, empathetic, like let them know it's okay. Let's figure this out together.
Correct. So KL said, when you're coming into your own truth, that can wear a person down. It really can. And so you have to really, just like she gave
it's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. Because you don't know what's going on below the surface. You really don't. And so, and as people go through things and come to terms with things, just being another transparent moment. When I lost the baby, everybody thought that I was just gonna be done. It took me probably a month to 2 months before I could physically get out the bed. Like I literally stayed in my bed for like a month and a half. Like all I would get up, take a shower, get back in bed. Get up, go to the bathroom, get back in bed. Like I could not function. And so people were like, oh, you were only 4.5 months. I still gave birth to a child. Like I went through labor and everything. Even though she was born at 4.5 months. So to dismiss that, I was just like, who the hell do you think you are? Number one. But number two, mentally, I had to get over, I was pregnant when they said I couldn't get pregnant. So I'm rejoicing over the miracle of being pregnant. Number two, my baby was born at 4.5 months. So I had a baby. So then there's this mixed emotion because I had the baby, but she didn't make it. So then I'm grieving the loss of the baby. Then I'm grieving the loss of the future that I had planned for the baby. Like I had all of these things going on and I could not physically take care of myself. I could not physically talk. I could not do anything. And people had this time frame on when Adrian was supposed to be better. Because the baby, it was just 4.5 months. But you don't understand from the personal perception of what I really actually went through.
Right.
So Big Brothers planned the funeral, which there was no funeral, but they took me to the to the funeral home. They made all of the arrangements, and I literally was sitting there like, "Oh, okay. Oh, okay." Like answering don't even realize what I picked out. Don't realize who paid for what. Don't real. I didn't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But mentally, I was checked out.
Right.
Like
So
checked out.
so
Checked
here's the thing. So here's the thing though. Take you and your experience and marry you to a man who doesn't know what to
Correct.
do with that.
And how was he like if I couldn't even handle it, how was he gonna handle it?
Exactly. That's what we have to think about when we're in marriages and we ready to throw in the towel and give up and divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, um, maybe that's what you need to do. If that's your decision, if that's what you feel, that's fine. But some people want to tough it out, but they don't always have the tools or have the people or have the support. And
That's
so there are mental health groups that you can research and go and actually be a part of a group session. You can also do couples counseling, of course, but if you want to be in a group setting where you hear other people's stories, where you know you're not alone, because it is so rare for people to talk about it and it's in a
mhm.
confidential space, those exist. And that might be something for people to try before they throw up their hands and give up and they just want to get a divorce. Because I understand that's got to be difficult. What you were going through, and then if it was a very similar situation and it was the husband, going through something like that with a person is very, very difficult. And it's not the same as a friend going through it with them or a
No,
family member. You're right there in the trenches with them. You in that boat with them. So it's very, very difficult, trying to sleep at night and trying to make sure they eat and, all the things. If you choose to be that person, it is very difficult. You have to plug in somewhere where you can get support
correct.
and don't be ashamed of doing so because it's your marriage. Because we quick to talk about it in every other space.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it being in a marriage, it's difficult. It's just difficult. It's so difficult to where even some people can't go talk to the pastor, but they can tell the pastor everything else. But they
Yep.
can't tell the pastor that in my marriage, my husband won't get him go to work.
Yep.
Well, why won't he go to work? Well, he's depressed. What you mean depressed? Men don't get depressed. Like you have no idea some of the things people say to other people, not necessarily intentional, but it's just sometimes out of ignorance, and not ignorance in just a negative sense of the word, but true ignorance in that they don't know how to respond. And so people will clam up and pull back, and then they're living in this secret hell. You know what? I actually I either read it or heard it, and some people out there might have heard it as well. But Judge Toller, I believe is her name, before her husband
Mm-hmm.
passed away, she started herself going through a really deep depression. But she had talked about being a child, and this is researchable. So if I get it wrong, forgive me, but go and check it out and look it up. But
Mm-hmm.
she actually openly talked about it herself, where her mother experienced taking care of her father, who had very severe mental health issues. But her father was a professional. He was like I can't remember if he was an attorney, like a lawyer, but he was something really like uh, uh, pretty well known in the area, black man who's in this type of profession and everything. And she would talk about how her mom would just gently take care of him when he would be having an episode. Like stuff like, closing the curtains or closing the blinds because he's afraid people looking in the house. And the mom making it kind of the norm for the kids, in a sense, so that the kids would not look at their dad in a certain way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
mind you, again, this is a woman who chose to stay. And some people say, oh, kids shouldn't have to go through that, or she shouldn't have done that. She put those kids through that. But you have to understand, though, this is a man and a woman who love each other and they're trying to make it work. Making it work is an individual thing. Some people don't think it's worth it. But when you do think it's worth it, you do normalize it to an extent in order for that person to find some comfort and happiness. And again, that is your choice to stay or to leave.
It is your
But she talked a little bit about that. And I don't want to go into too much detail because I know I'm probably getting it wrong, but it's something to look up about how her
choice.
mom managed her dad with mental health issues. Yeah, go ahead.
But I think that's what we're talking about here is like when you are in partnership and it is you and your person, there is to me an expectation when you're with your person to figure out how to manage and navigate those things. And KL just posted and my computer just shut down even though it's plugged up. Um and I keep trying to log back in. But KL posted, it's really sad when people say time will heal all wounds, and you need to be over something, and so and so and so and so time frame. But to me, when we're talking about mental health, it goes back to what you just said. When you are with your partner, this is your ride or die. This is the person that you have pledged to spend the rest of your life with. There comes a point where you have to understand that when those vows say for better or worse, sickness and health, mental health is a sickness at some point. Like,
yeah.
everybody is not going to be hunky-dory 100% of the time. So you have to come up with what is the plan when we are in the deep depths, bottom of the ocean, deep sunk. Like,
right.
what does it look like when one of us is there or both of us is there? We could be both there at the same time, not functioning together. But what does that look like? Like, how do we operate to bring each other out of the funk?
Right.
And that could be long term, it could be short term, but just like you said, managing your partner through the mental health issue, like, you have to come up with a plan to manage. Like,
right.
I don't. It wasn't nothing but God that got me out of that, and I can say that because I was single. But had I been married when I went through that, I don't know that my ex-husband could have handled that.
Right.
I don't, because I was the one I'm the fixer. I'm the one that always makes sure everybody else is good, but and then when you're coming to the table with that and you're in partnership with somebody, what does that look like? Like, how do you acquiesce? How do you relinquish? Because that's the other piece of that. Like, what happens when Superman can't be Superman? What happens when Superwoman can't be Superwoman or Wonder Woman?
Right.
What happens? Gabe, you've been real quiet today.
I'm taking it all in. I'm like I said, I'm taking it all in because I'm not far from marriage in my head, right? So I do feel like when people talk about like, oh, I can't wait to do life with you, and they say that in such a cute way, like it's just like, oh, life is gonna be this utopia that nothing hit us in the mouth. Like, nah, like life comes with some stuff.
It does,
and it comes with a lot of stuff, and we'll promise more stuff than not stuff.
Correct.
Right. That's real.
Yeah, and so supporting each other through that is. That's what partnership is all about. So I'm like I said, I'm just listening and taking it all in.
But that's a really good point you just made, though, is that it's not about just the good days, and I respect this narrative that's out here in our society that take care of yourself, be happy, and all the things, right? I respect that, but it's like there's also another side to that, and there's another set of people who want to work things out, and it might not always look quite that lovely to always be able to just focus on you and be more self-centered about your happiness. Sometimes it really is about you putting yourself aside.
It is,
and it's about that other person. Go ahead.
Yeah. And to that point, like, I just think we live in a generation now that's so self-centered and so self-focused. Like, everybody's in it for what they can get out of it. It's not about how can I pour into you? How can we pour into each other? It's like, it's always, oh, what can I get out of this? What can I get from this person? What are you going to give me when we get in a relationship? It's not about the relationship and the partnership as a whole. So this is another element of it, because when life starts happening and when mental health starts to wear on you and stuff starts to stress you out and you can't get out of bed, that person is like, wait a minute, I'm here for what you can give me, not what I can do for you right now. I need you. Like, and so that's the selfishness of this era that we're in. And it's not everybody, but sorry. You good. But yeah, that's all. It's just it's very much we got to get back to the understanding of what partnership really means.
Yeah, and consider this: when you marry someone, you marry them where they are that day. But that doesn't mean that things may not change and they look very different down the road. And it can be equivalent to somebody being in a car accident. They don't die, but they lose their legs. You gonna leave?
Right.
How much do you really love them? You know, how much you really love me? You staying or you leaving? What you doing? You going? What is this? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Because when stress comes, let me tell you something. You don't know how each individual person is going to respond to it. You think you know, you could have dated them for 10, 15 years, but you didn't live with them when they were stressed out. You may have went to your house and they went to theirs, or if y'all spent the night, it was just for that night or a couple of nights. But when you there all the time and stress hits, and this person go left and this person go right, and you looking at each other like, wait a minute, why you running that way? We running this way. And now you gotta sit there and decide, well, which way we gonna go? Who gets to say which way we running when the stress hit? Now what you gonna do? Are you leaving or are you staying? Because if you staying and it ain't for the weak and you gotta be strong, get your tools together, get your support system together, and go and find somebody you comfortable enough with to talk to. Don't hold that stuff in and let it eat at you.
Hey,
specifically your spiritual tools.
Yes.
I feel
yes.
You can't have no marriage without God in it. I don't know how that works. I really don't.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Like one of the best things that we ever did was we went to premarital counseling. But I think I don't think people are completely truthful when they go to premarital counseling.
Absolutely not.
And so
premarital, they trying to get to the altar.
They
trying to win. They trying to win.
But here's where I'm going with this. You know, when we created this podcast a year ago, we talked about, dang it, it's been a year. Okay, a year and shoot.
Year and a month.
A year and 5 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we started in January.
That's right.
Woo, man.
That's crazy.
But anyway, when we started the podcast, we talked about what it looks like to be your authentic self.
Right.
And so what I'm going to bring this back full circle. When you are operating as your authentic self, and I'm apologizing because I can't get back into the comments. So if I'm missing comments, we will respond to them later. When you are operating as your authentic self, part of your authentic self is what mental health issues have I dealt with in the past? What mental health issues might I be dealing with in the future? Because when I went through premarital counseling before I got married, and that was 2008, 2009-ish, I never would have thought I would deal with depression on the level that I have dealt with depression since I got married. Like, I never thought about that. But I was also truthful in counseling to bring out the fact that I had dealt with depression before. I had dealt with anxiety before. So what I'm saying is, stop lying. Just put the truth out there.
Right. Yes.
At the end of the day, if this is your ride or die, I'm gonna love your dirty draws. I need to know all of you. I need to know everything that I'm dealing with as your future wifey and you my future hubby. Like,
right.
There should be no secrets at that point. Stop lying to people just because you're trying to get married and want to get married. And just tell the truth and shame the devil. Like, you know, because
go into it giving what you want to get out of it. How about that? If you want support, if you want somebody to have your back, go into it giving that. Pour in so that you can then reap that out. You're planting seeds in your marriage to then be able to reap it later. Because see, here's the thing. I might be suffering right now. Let's say again, that postpartum situation. I might get through that. And then now he lose a job and he's depressed. Now we share. You're sharing it. It's not like one person is going to be like underwater all the time. Sometimes he's underwater and sometimes you're underwater. So it should balance out at some point. The longer you're in it and the longer you put in that work, it comes back around. Even though it doesn't seem like it in the moment that you're in the situations you're in, it really does come back around, but you got to wait it out.
You have
You got to
wait
wait
it
it
out.
out. Now if you choose to leave or walk away or whatever, again, it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes that person is not your person. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And you'll find that
Yep.
out through the squeezing as well, because squeezing gonna bring out the real person. Okay.
Facts.
And so you'll find that out. But when you have somebody where you can't really sit down and say nothing's wrong, like, no, he really loves me, he take care of me, he do this, he do that, he always has, up until now he's got this issue, then he may deserve a little extra time. You see what I'm
Correct.
saying?
Yep. But and
And that's
see,
something you got to gauge on your own. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad you said extra time. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go back to everybody deals with stuff different.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no set time frame on how to deal with grief, loss, trauma, uh
Mm-hmm.
uh none of that. There is no time frame. And
Right.
so and all of those issues can contribute to how somebody is responding with their in their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So let's also address this notion that it's supposed to all be fixed in 1 week, 2 days, 3 minutes and 25 seconds and 2 nights.
Right.
Like
Right.
that is not how this works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mental health can look all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It can.
It can look
It's
all
quite a
kinds of
spectrum.
ways. There's quite
Quite
a
a spectrum.
spectrum.
Yeah.
But when you are with your partner, when you are with your significant other, your ride or die, you have to have a set of established rules between the two of you as to how you gonna navigate a time such as this.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
Yes.
I want to say.
Look, I.e. work together. Essentially,
Work
that's what you're
together.
saying. Work
Yeah.
together. And you have to think about it too. If you have children that come out of that union, if it's something that could be passed on, one of your kids could potentially deal with this. So you want to find out how to be successful at overcoming it, whether it's with medication, whether it's with talk therapy, whether it's with certain like certain trainings and things like that. You
Mhm.
want to figure it out so you can be prepared for that child if and when you have to then support your child. If you
Yep.
don't deal with it, sweeping it on the rug ain't gonna get rid of it.
Nope.
You gotta face it just like you would any other issue in your marriage. The difference though is that this is just something that is kind of not within your reach in the same way. And it does matter that that person has to also agree with you that, hey, I'm going to go get help and I do need to talk to somebody. And yes, I'm really snowed under. Yes, it is taking me down. I'm overwhelmed. They have to come to a place of admitting that. Now, if you get a person who it is out there that the mental health piece of the marriage is an issue and they don't want to fix it, yet again, that may be the time you decide, I can't do this. I got to go be healthy. But if you got somebody that's really trying and they're just doing the best they can and their capacity is only so large because of what they're dealing with, because of maybe the surprise that it is to them that, oh my God, I am really under, then, you work with them because they're trying. But if you got somebody who's not trying and like I said, it's more severe and it's a safety issue and things like that, of course not. Right. But I'm
Right.
really talking more so to people who really want to make it, they
Yep.
really want to make it. And so you can make it. I want to encourage those people and let them know that, there are therapists who specialize in some of these particular things as well. You just have to find then you all's person
Yep.
and just get in there and just do the work and figure it out. It can be better.
Okay.
You can
Well,
overcome it. Yeah.
we can overcome anything. So if you guys need resources, hit us up and we'll provide the resources. See, we didn't even need a second break today.
Nah,
Look at God.
rolled on through it.
Uh so our future doc, thank you.
Oh Lord.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Um
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Gabe, thank you, thank you.
Of course, of course.
Your girl is
Yeah,
back.
Gabe.
Welcome back.
See,
Adrian and Gabe.
wait. Katrina, do you realize that this is the second time you kicked us off for Mental Health Awareness Month?
Mm.
No, I did not know that.
You were our first guest last May.
Okay. Okay.
That's
No, I did not
crazy.
remember that.
I just
Dope.
thought about that. That's
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Cool
that's
beans.
crazy.
And I was here both times. That's
You
crazy
were.
too.
Look at
Right.
that.
Look at that. Full circle.
Yay!
Full
Shout
circle.
out to Gabe.
Uh, and yes, you have been on here 4 times.
Yeah, child.
I'm gonna keep bringing you back because you are full of wonderful knowledge. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
so
I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to do my part. We all got a part to play.
we
I'm gonna
all
play
got a
my
part
part
to
real
play.
good.
Uh,
Do my best in
so
my part.
you so silly. But thank you for coming tonight and kicking us off for Mental Health
Sure.
Awareness Month. In my welcome back show.
Welcome back. Welcome back, sis.
Welcome
Welcome
back.
back.
Fam, we will see you guys same time, same channel next week. And we're gonna have another wonderful topic for you to discuss. And then I'm unsure what our speaker will talk about next week. I don't know. But I do know on the 20th, we're talking dating and mental health. My goddaughter will be on the show.
Okay.
Oh wow.
She is a
Nice.
newly licensed counselor, and that's one of the areas that she is specializing in with her people.
Okay.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm sorry, she's coming on the 27th. And then on the 20th, Mr. Powell will be here.
Hey.
See, one of our other favorites.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Keep trying to tell y'all the Lord has a way of introducing people and bringing them on the show. And y'all be bringing it. So I'm very grateful and thankful. So we will see y'all next week. Peace out.
Bye-bye.